Welcome back. So today we are going to be drafting the basic bodice block using the NATALIE Bray method. The tools we are going to be needing for this pattern drafting are a marker if there's need for one, a pencil, an eraser, a tape rule if you like using your tape rule, curve, a ruler, a short ruler, medium size ruler, a square, then pattern master, of course, our measurements, our textbook, then of course our pattern paper. You can either use the white or brown, whichever one you have available you can use. So now the first thing we're going to do is to get the measurement that we need for our pattern on this paper. So the first thing to do is to get the length. As you can see, I've already gotten the measurement, so I'm going to tell you how I got the measurement. The first thing to do is to get a length of 75 cm from the top edge of this paper to this place, and you pencil it 75 cm long. That's the length of the paper. Then you come to the top edge, you mark 3 cm, 2 to 3 cm depending on what you want to use. I used 3 cm here, so you mark 3 cm and you roll across, then you label it your top line. Then the next thing is to get the width of the paper. The formula for getting the width of this paper is half bust plus 5, half bust plus 5, or half hip plus 3. So whichever one is the largest, you use to get the width of the paper. So this is my measurement here. I have a bust 99 cm full measurement, a hip 108 cm, which is also the full measurement. So going to the half measurements, I have 49.5. So if I add 49.5 to 5, it's giving me 54.5 cm. Then I add 54 plus 3, it's giving me 57 cm. Of course, we can see that 57 cm is bigger, whichever way you want to see it. If you look at it from the half measurement, we have 54, we have 49.5, 49.5, 54, and of course 54 is bigger. So if you add 3 cm to it, it's also bigger. If you add 5 cm to this, it's 5 cm to the bust, you still have 54.5. So at the end of the day, we pick the one that is the biggest, and obviously our hip is the biggest measurement here. So that's what we used in getting the width of this paper. So we have 54 plus 3 is equals to 57. So 57 is the width of this paper. That is what we used. So now, in order to get this bust, what I did was to mark a 2.5 cm here on this line so that I can get the line to work with. 2.5 cm here. So from this 2.5 cm, I measured my 57. This is the remaining measurement on this CF. So we are working with this bust, this measurement from here to this line. So from here to here is 57. So on this margin, this is our center back, then this is our center front, just line. The next thing we are going to do now is we're going to start working with the back, center back block. So the first thing we're going to do is to get the measurement for our proportion. I've already written down our proportion, but we're going to go back to our textbook to understand how we got this proportion measurements. So now, to get the proportion that works with your measurements, you go to the bust measurement on this table. You check for where your own bust measurement falls. This bust measurement here is 99 cm. 99 cm falls within 96. So we have the difference between this measurement, the first measurement and the second measurement, is 4 cm difference. So what we'll do is to calculate 99 cm, 96 cm, 97, 98, 99. So it falls within this measurement. So this is where our proportion table falls. So I've already written it out. Okay. So my point OCB for this bust 99 measurement is 3.5 cm. So I'm going to take my ruler and start working with that measurement. So from here, I'm going to measure from this top line measurement. I'm going to measure 3.5. 3.5. You rule about 10 to 12 cm long. Rule a straight line and you label it point O. So this is where your measurement is going to start from the back. So the next thing to do is to get your bust line, and your bust line, the measurement for your bust line on the proportion table is 22 cm. So from point O again, you're going to measure 22 cm. 22 cm to the CF. So how do you get an accurate line? This is what I do. I take my ruler up to the top edge, then I calculate 22 cm plus 3.5 cm. It's giving me 25 cm. So I'm going to take the 25 cm from this top edge to the center front. That way I have an accurate line. So from here, 25.5, 25.5, 25.5. So you roll across to the CF. So you label bust line. The next thing to do is to get your length to waist. Your length to waist is usually measured on the client's body. So the length to waist for this pattern is 41. From your point O again, please note, it's from point O that will take our measurements. That's the starting point of our CB. So you measure from point O, 41 cm again. So in order to get an accurate line, you do the same thing. I'll do the same thing that I did with my bust line to get an accurate measurement. So here, 41 plus 3.5 is giving me 44.5 cm. So I'm going to take 44.5 cm on the top of this edge, top line of this pattern, measure 44.5. 44.5. So it's giving me an accurate measurement. So I'll label waist line. So now the next thing to get is a hip line. A hip line is a constant measurement of 22 cm. So on your waistline, you just measure 22 cm down. To the CF line. you label hip line. Hip line, waistline, bust line. So then the next thing to do is to get our back line. Our back line is a measurement from point O to 20, from point O to bust line. It's half of the measurement from our point O to our bust line. So our half of 22 cm is 11 cm. Note, in the textbook you get to see 21.5 cm, 22.5 cm. So what you do is to, in order not to have numbers like fractions, like for example now we have our 11.5 is 21.5, rather it's 21.5 cm, it's almost 11.7 or thereabout. So in order to have not to have fractions, what you do is to convert that measurement, i.e. 21.5 cm into 22 cm, then divide it into 2. That's the best thing to do when you come across a bust line of 21.5 and you want to get your back measurements. So what you do, convert it to the nearest, which is the nearest number, then divide it into 2. That way you work with the number, not fraction, in fractions, so that you get an accurate measurement. So the next thing we're going to do now, so I'm getting my half measurement, half back, my back line rather, which is a measurement of 0. Which is half measurement between our bust line, 0 and our bust line. So I have 22 cm. So I'm going to do the same thing so that I'll get an accurate line. So I'm taking it up from to our top line. I have 14.5 here, 14.5. So you roll half, roll it halfway towards the CF line. You're not rolling to the CF, but halfway to the CF. So you label back line. The next line to get is our shoulder line. Our shoulder line is a constant measurement from point O, 3 cm for all sizes. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take it up so that I can get a straight line. So I have 6.5. 3 plus 3.5 is giving me 6.5. 6.5. So I roll across. So you label shoulder line. So this is your neckline. So after that, we're going to put the width, the measurements of these lines. So the first one, we are going to get our neckline. On our proportion table, our neckline is 7.5 cm. So we'll come here, we put 7.5 cm. Come here, we input our 7.5 cm on our neckline. We'll raise it up by 2 cm. It's a constant measurement also. 2 cm, 7.5 cm, 2 cm. So clean this excess out. So the next thing to input is the measurement of our cross back. Our cross back measurement is 40 cm. Then half of it is 20 cm. So we're going to input 20 cm on our shoulder line, half back measurement, or a back width, whichever one you choose to call it. You come to your back line, you also put 20 cm. Also impute the 20 cm on it. You come to your bust line, you impute the 20 cm. So you roll, you connect these dots together. So roll a straight line. So 20 cm, 20 cm, 20 cm. So on this shoulder line, you're going to mark 2 cm. 2 cm out. It's a constant measurement also. But this on the back line, nothing is marked. Then you go to your bust line. You're going to, on your proportion table, the backup, the measurement to add to this place is on the proportion table, which is called the backup. So it's 6 cm. So 6 cm here, 6 cm, and you mark UP under bust point. Under bust point, under point. Then on this angle, you mark 3 cm. It's a constant measurement. So all these measurements we are marking, they are guidelines to our armhole curve at the back. So 3 cm constant measurement. Then you come down on the back line, you measure 3 cm. This also serves as a guideline to our armhole. Then after that, you take your curve, you mark your neckline. Then you label MP, neck point. Then you go to you connect your neck point to the shoulder line, to that 2 cm. You label SP. This is your shoulder point. Shoulder point. Then from the SP, you connect to the back line. You connect to the back line. Then you take your curve from your UP, you connect passing through this 3 cm, this 3 cm here to this 3 cm. So this place is straight, but you connect your UP to this 3.3 cm here. You're going to pass through this 3 cm on this angle, on this line. So you connect. Your back armhole is ready. The next thing to do is to get your hip point. And our hip point measurement, our hip point measurement is 27 cm. So you mark 27 cm. You take your ruler, 27 cm, you label HP. 27. From HP you connect to UP. From UP, connect to UP. we're partially done with our back measurements. So like I said, we are partially done with the back, center back pattern. But before we move to the front, we're going to label this line here, the UP to the HP line, the connection we made, the straight line we ruled from our HP to our UP. We're going to label it straight underarm seam. Then we are going to come down on our waistline. On our waistline, I'm going to measure 1 cm below. It varies. For a big size, you use 1 cm, but for a smaller size, you use 0.5 cm. So for this measurement, I'm using 1 cm, and I'm going to connect it to my waistline. The waistline. Connected it back to this straight line. So you label this your WP, waist point. This is also known as the original or true waistline, because you're going to be cutting your pattern from here. You're using the half bodice block. So from inside, from this original waist or WP, like it's been referred to, you come in from the straight line, you measure 2 cm in. It's a constant measurement, and we are going to use it to get the shaped underarm seam. So from your UP, let me clean this waist point I wrote here so that you can see the measurements that I used here. So this place is labeled WP from inside 2 cm. So from here to here, 2 cm measurement. So from your UP, you connect. This is how I'm placing the curve. You connect from your UP to your waist point, the down one. Then from your hip, from your WP, you connect back to your hip. You use this part of the curve to connect back to your hip. You connect your WP to your HP, or your HP to your WP. It gives us this curve. So the next thing to do for the back is to cross-check the shoulder point. So now, when the pattern is drafted, the shoulder point on the shoulder or the shoulder line of the back is usually longer than the usual shoulder measurement. So in this case, I have the shoulder measurement for this back for this pattern is 12.5 cm, but as we can see, we have 15 cm here. 15 cm, so it's 2.5 cm longer than it's supposed to be. So it's usually 1 cm, 1.5 cm to 2 cm longer. So you're going to deduct that from, you're going to create a dart to deduct that. So from my MP now, this is how I'm going to create the dart, the shoulder dart on the back. From my MP, I'm going to measure half of my shoulder measurement. Half of my shoulder measurement is 6.25. My shoulder measurement is 12.5, so half of it is 6.25. So I come to the SP, I do the same thing. I measure 6.25, I label, then I have 2.5 SS. In between the 2.5 SS, I'm going to get the middle. The middle is 1.25. 1.25. So this is the middle. I'm going to rule a straight line from that middle, about 8 to 9 cm long. Then I connect the 1.25 on both sides to that line. That way I have my dart. So that's that about the back for now.